And my first meal is, I have 40 grams of raw oats, 50 grams of whole milk, and 15 grams of 0-calorie sugar. And that's a total of 185 calories, 29.4 grams of carbs, 6.6 grams of protein, and finally 4.7 grams of fat. I don't really like to go to the gym on an empty stomach, as halfway through my sessions I will get a little bit hungry and rush my sessions. And now I go first thing in the morning. This meal is just perfect because I just got my slow release carbs, which will help me throughout my whole workout. So my weightlifting sessions are roughly between 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes. And on Mondays and Fridays, I also add an additional 20 minutes interval training. And some days I also do get some content on top of this. So I could be in the gym for 2 hours minimum. And if I don't eat beforehand, I would be absolutely starving by the end of that. But anyway, that's meal 1 done. So meal number 2 is my post-workout meal. And this could be anywhere between 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. depending on whenever I get back from the gym. And I normally like to have something relatively big and full of protein for this post-workout meal. Right now, I'm an absolute sucker for Jason sourdough bread. And I've recently discovered there's a high protein version, which is 10 grams of protein per slice. And I normally have the sourdough bread with sliced cheese, and I normally have 2 slices of cheese, and that's 5 grams of protein per slice. And altogether, that's 500 calories, 47 grams of carbs, 40 grams of protein, which is insane for cheese on toast, and finally 16 grams of fat. So it's a relatively high protein, high carb meal straight after gym, which is perfect. So you have your fast digesting carbs in the bread, which helps restores your glycogen. You also have a high protein with the bread and the cheese, and this will help with both muscle growth and repair. And also the cheese does have fat in it, which will help slow down your digestion so you don't crash straight after it. Some days I do alternate. From this cheese on toast, I do add some tomato puree onto it, which does turn it into a mini pizza. And the best thing about the tomato puree is that it adds flavor to this, turns it into a mini pizza, and it's only 1 calorie per gram. That's my post-workout meal. So meal number 3, this takes me to lunchtime. I normally have this between 11:30 and 12:30, just whenever I get hungry. And this is the biggest gap I normally go without having food, but I always have a coffee or 2 in between this space. And for my lunch, I have 100 grams of cottage cheese, 40 grams of whey protein, 20 grams of coconut flour, 3 eggs, and 3 grams of unsalted butter. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot take any credit for this recipe. I saw this in a Will Tennyson video. I was very impressed with the calorie to protein ratio, so I thought I'll start having this for lunch. Calories are 570 calories, 19.9 grams of carbs, 65 grams of protein. This is a meal where I get my most amount of protein in one sitting. And finally, 26.3 grams of fat. It's supposed to be some kind of protein waffle or protein pancake recipe, but I'm not gonna lie, I have absolutely no patience, especially when it comes to creating pancakes. So I just stick all the batter in the pan in one go and just mix it together. It looks like a mess, but it is a good 9 out of 10, especially with those macros. And to top this off, when it's cooked, I normally drown this in 0-calorie syrup. 0-calorie syrup, and I don't necessarily weigh it because I know 100 grams is roughly 3 calories. So there are a lot more benefits than 65 grams of protein in this meal. So that the cottage cheese is a slow release protein and the whey is a fast release protein, it keeps you full for a lot longer. So with the coconut flour, this adds texture, flavor, thickness, and fiber to this meal, and it just really thickens up the mixture, leaving it looking a lot less like scrambled egg. And finally, the eggs, where you get some healthy fats and additional protein. That's it for lunch. So before we get into meal 4, if you're enjoying this video, smash the thumbs up button and let me know below your protein pancake recipe. Meal number 4 is just very simple and very straightforward, and this is where I have my protein shake in the day. I normally have 40 grams of whey protein and 150 grams of whole milk. Altogether, this protein shake is 253 calories, 10.2 grams of carbs, 36.8 grams of protein, and 6 grams of fat. But anyway, that's my snack in between my lunch and my dinner. Finally, we're on to meal number 5, and this is dinner. I normally have this between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. and this will be the last thing I eat for the rest of the day. So meal number 5 is a lean ground beef rice bowl, and I normally flavor it Greek style or Korean style, depending what I'm feeling on the day. But I've got the macros for the Greek style here. And the ingredients are 5% lean beef, 250 grams. Long ground rice, 250. The reason why it's 250 grams is because I just buy my rice by the packet, stick it in the microwave, and just have a full pouch. 30 grams of puree, and 3 grams of unsalted butter where I'll fry the beef in. So altogether, this meal is 721 calories, 81 grams of carbs, 66.3 grams of protein and 21.2 grams of fat. I do this meal with the onion, which I don't really count to be honest, and sometimes I do throw peas or sweet corn in there also. So with this meal I have my lean beef, which is low in fat, high in protein. The rice for me is just an easy to digest carb, so on occasions I do switch my protein and switch my carbs, but this is a staple in my diet. I normally have this 2 to 3 times a week. Let me know in the comment section your go-to high protein dinners. So these are the macros and the total calories, which got my physique from looking like this to this. And the total calories are 2,193 calories. At the start going into this cut, I was 75.2 kg. So my maintenance was roughly 2,700. So I just deducted 500 calories off my maintenance and it gives me just under roughly 2,200 calories. And I roughly hit 187.5 grams of carbs a day, which is 34% of my diet. And my fats are 74.2 grams. This is roughly 27% of my diet and maybe could be a little bit higher. And last but not least, my protein is 215.7 grams, which is 39% of my diet. But don't get me wrong, it isn't like this every single time or every single week. For example, the Jason's high protein sourdough bread helps me get to this amount, and it is very rare that I find it in the supermarket. So if 3 slices of this high protein bread is 30 grams of protein, the regular Jason sourdough bread is 5 grams of protein a slice. So if I have 3 slices of that, that's 15 grams. So give or take 200 grams to 215 grams I normally get for my protein. But for someone my weight, which is roughly 165 pounds, I follow 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight. So I should be hitting a minimum of 165 grams of protein a day. So that I'm on a very high protein diet for somebody my weight. I'm not necessarily losing muscle, and in fact, I'm actually finding myself getting stronger. Although I am in a calorie deficit, this isn't everything I have been doing just to lose weight. I do actively try to hit 10,000 steps a day minimum. So hitting 10,000 steps a day roughly burns between 350 and 500 calories a day, which is burning 2,500 to 3,500 calories a week. So it does give me some leeway with my diet. And now I'm burning so much calories on Saturday and Sunday, I'm pretty lenient with my diet. I only hit my target calories Monday to Friday, and I make sure I don't really exceed this and ruin my hard work in the week. And also during this cut, I have been doing 2 20-minute interval sessions a week, and I do that Mondays and Fridays. All it is a 1-minute walk and a 1-minute sprint, and that's it. That's everything I've done on this cut. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and watch this next video.